Hello everyone. Today we will be talking to Spring Sia out of Melbourne, Australia. Spring is a active Muay Thai fighter, pro Muay Thai fighter in Australia. She performs on Rebellion Muay Thai, has worked her way up, and is now a personal trainer out of Melbourne and doing a lot of things for the sport. So we're going to get to talk to her about marketing, branding, how she works as a personal trainer, and her start as a YouTube superstar. She is starting a YouTube channel, so she's joined, so she should just pop right up. Okay, 1 second. She should be here in just a second. But again, Spring, a very, very active fighter. She has fought out in Thailand before. She was training for a little while at Pet Indie, which is an acclaimed gym in Bangkok. It's one of the best gyms in Thailand. PK Sanchai, Kit Muang Non, Fairtex, they're all sort of Phuket Fight Club. They're all sort of the powerhouse gyms. So it looks like she's having a little trouble getting on here. So give me 1 second to sort this out. So this is part of our ongoing series about marketing in Muay Thai, how people can just get better at growing themselves in sport. Hey, Spring, how are you, Spring?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you mind doing a very brief introduction for yourself for those that are not familiar with you?
Okay. Well, my name is Spring, and I'm a Muay Thai fighter. I've done martial arts for most of my life, and Muay Thai is something that I picked up later in life. So in my early 20s, I picked it up and kind of fell in love with it because it was so challenging, and transitioned into fighting professionally, and now I also coach.
So one of the big things we wanted to have you on is because I think you're doing a very good job at branding and marketing yourself. You have a YouTube channel now. Can you talk about that and what that is like?
So my YouTube channel is kind of a way for me to connect to all the people that I already knew during COVID, because I couldn't get to them personally. I thought it'd be a good way for me just to create content, share it, and also kind of spread it to people that would find it useful. So it's kind of a creative outlet for myself, just to try and put put all the Muay Thai knowledge that I kind of knew in what was shared with me, and then put it together in a way that was understandable and digestible to other people that were, let's say, starting Muay Thai. So it's kind of targeted for more people starting out Muay Thai, and also how to train it at home without equipment or without, let's say, pads or a bag, just how to still kind of keep in touch with Muay Thai with someone that's already training, you couldn't get access to a gym. And then for someone that was kind of like looking to start Muay Thai, it was a little bit, if they'll find it a bit challenging kind of getting to a gym, or just want to like test it out by yourself. So kind of that was more the idea behind the content initially.
And what did you learn from doing it? Not only in terms of like how you were teaching, but also how you presented it.
I learned a lot actually, just in terms of like how to communicate to, let's say, beginners, and also kind of help me my PTs at the moment now. Just kind of breaking down the way that I explain different techniques, or how to like slow down, I think, the teaching a little bit more as well, because I kind of assumed that everyone was about the same level as like me and my friends around the gym, and they really weren't. There's so much diversity in where they're starting out, so it's like you got to break it down and kind of slow down what you're teaching to people of all levels, and it just kind of, I guess, kind of narrow it down a little bit more and make the videos more specific to someone that's completely a beginner, or let's say more advanced, and really take your time to explain it, because there's so much to Muay Thai, and there's so much that you can share. Even when I'm thinking at the start, I was like, I don't really know if I've got anything much to like kind of share with someone, like, and then now I realize I'm like, no, actually there's a lot that that I'm kind of learning on the way as well, and while I'm learning, and I can still share that with people, and it's still kind of relatable to them.
And then on a technical level, what is it like starting the YouTube channel? How have you sort of pushed it out?
It was difficult at the start, because I was like, I don't know how to edit, I don't know how to film, and everything is still filmed on my iPhone, and I was like, how do you do this like Final Cut thing? I think everything started in iMovie first, like just kind of cut, paste, and then just put it all together, export. And then slowly I was just kind of YouTubing like different kind of troubleshooting all the problems that I had with editing. And I found it really interesting because it's like a creative outlet for me too. So I found it fun to edit and just kind of work it out. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun, like kind of learning and just kind of aspiring to be more like the other YouTubers out there. Like that's kind of kept me motivated to kind of get better and like to learn how to communicate on screen and not be shy and just like to better like articulate myself. So that's also been a challenge, and it's been good fun.
Yeah, I definitely have liked them. I know I've worked out to them. I'm not sure if Sai has, our good friend Sai Neji, but hopefully he's at home working out. A couple more questions, though, of course. One of the things we want to talk about a lot here is, how people are presenting themselves as Muay Thai fighters and how that sort of helps develop their careers. How do you feel you present yourself, both like in person and then on social media?
I think when you first asked me that question, I was like, oh, actually, that's a really good question. I haven't never thought of it. And after I asked a couple of my friends and like coaches and stuff, I think they were saying that I present myself in quite a fun and like personable way. I think I'm like that in person anyway, and I think it just transfers over. Like I'm pretty much the same, like with what you see me online and in person. I'm pretty upbeat and friendly, so I think I present myself in a friendly manner, or like try and be presentable or like personable, and try and make Muay Thai personable as well. Because I think it can be a little bit intimidating for people when they're starting out, thinking that all martial arts or like fighters are very scary, or they have this kind of staunch personality and they're like vicious, or like just want to kill someone. Oh, not technically kill someone, but you know what I mean. Like just kind of like they're really rough. But I think that isn't particularly true. Like, people can be very nice and still be fighters and kind of do it for different reasons. So I think just sharing that side of it, like trying to make it more fun, make it more personable, and make it more like kind of not inspire, but I think to show that side of it where it can be fun, it can be friendly, it can be something that anyone can do of any level, whatever, whether you're a mom at home, you haven't done martial arts or any kind of fitness before, like Muay Thai can be for you. Or whether you're a teenager that's a little bit shy, like it's really for everyone.
Yeah, so it's interesting that you went around and asked a few people what they thought. Did people say, what were sort of the pros and cons of getting that feedback?
I think some of them were saying, like, for example, like, yes, you're like really personable and everything, but at the same time, like Sai brought it up and he said you don't try and push yourself as a brand or as a presence enough. Like you focus so much on everyone else that you're not really I guess you're not putting yourself in front and be like, oh, I'm Spring and I'm this and I'm this, I'm this, and I'm kind of more like, well, this is this person, or like this is my friend, or like that's my coach, and I kind of almost because I'm always kind of like having fun with them, like I always kind of put them in front of the limelight rather than myself.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that, I feel like that can be a good thing and can be played to your advantage. Do you feel like that's a hurdle for you, or do you feel like it's okay, or how do you feel about that?
I don't feel like it's a hurdle, but I feel like maybe it could be improved. Maybe it's just kind of like an insecurity of sorts to kind of feel that I can put myself out there. You kind of like, I feel like I resist putting myself out there, presenting myself in a certain way, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with putting stuff up, you're proud of it, but I tend to kind of shy away from doing that, so that's something maybe I could work on, like for myself.
Yeah, I know, at least for me, when I started pushing more on social media, doing a lot of profiles of other people helped me get used to being in front of the camera and being okay with it. Okay, I'm maybe I'm not supporting myself, but it's okay, I'm supporting other people, and sort of that positive energy is going to come back to me at some point. And just building off of that, and then you slowly feel more comfortable standing in front of the camera. And not everyone's comfortable all the time either.
Yeah, I'm like, you just gotta like, just pretend like you're talking to your friends or whatever it is. Like, yeah, it's so much easier when there's someone in front of you, like you're doing it with someone, because you can kind of, like you say, you bounce off each other. You don't feel so funny like just talking to no one.
Yeah, when I have to do those sort of things, I always make a little bit of a script ahead of time. So I'll have notes or whatever. Like now, I have a few notes written down. Where I'm, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say?
What do you think about?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, those things help. You know, and it's important for people in the Muay Thai world to put themselves out there. I feel like you know, it's sort of a reserved sport, and there's good things about it for sure. But you know, there's a lot of really awesome people I think deserve one spot. But you know, one of the things you talked about, or was like a little bit of your brand and your career. Where do you feel like you are now with your career, and where do you want to go?
Where do you think I am now? I think I'm at that kind of like middle point. I like not like completely at the start and then not at the end either. So I'm definitely somewhere in the middle. Where do I want to go? I definitely still want to get like as many fights as I can. Fight for at least a couple more years, and hopefully win like some titles and you know fight internationally and like get on those wider platforms as well. So that'll be the goal. But yeah, like just kind of like fight internationally, that'll be cool. And just start to network and kind of spread out and learn a bit more about Muay Thai internationally, not just locally. I mean, there's so much to learn here as well. Having fought in Thailand, that was fun. I want to fight more in Thailand, and then maybe you know that would like open opportunities to fight internationally as well in other countries.
Yeah, I definitely feel like coming over here to Thailand, especially for a long stays, helps people get those international opportunities. So a lot of the foreign fighters that have been out here long term end up going overseas in some capacity. But Australia has a pretty active scene. How often are you fighting over there?
When there are like fights, like fight shows and everything's going really well, I try to fight at least once every 2 to 3 months.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, like if I can, I'm not like getting injured, I haven't torn anything or like, broken myself. But yeah, I try and like kind of line it up. Like this couple of shows, you know, definitely preferring the ones I've been on more frequently or have more of a history with. Try and line them out so that it's easy for me to plan my fight camps, and yeah.
And is there things that you do specifically for those fights to sort of like build yourself up, or like sell more tickets to sort of grow yourself each time you fight?
To be honest, like not really publicly. Like kind of just do it like behind, like not in terms of like growing my brand or anything like that. So I haven't actually thought in that manner. It's mostly kind of just like personal goals or kind of personal improvements that I want to see each fight. Kind of take away, like chat to the coach after, and we kind of build a game plan. So it's kind of still very internal and behind the scenes. But yeah, like in like those kind of things, I feel like people might be interested in seeing the behind the scenes of you know what goes on, and yeah, it's like you should share more of that.
Yeah, I mean those things are always interesting. You know, one of the things that I like to talk to fighters right after the fight, what happened to them? You know, what were their goals? What did they learn? You know, it's a moment of like, it's an emotional moment, and sometimes you get a lot of clarity, sometimes it's a lot of confusion too.
Yeah, I think it's good, like, yeah, because people want to hear how it's like, you know, like, and they want to know, you know, like even for themselves, like if they want to compete, they're like, well, you know, I want to know what it's like coming from you who just competed. They want to know what the experience felt like, the whole process of it, and it might just give them that like extra push to get them going. Like, yes, you can compete, you can do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you ever done like a fight camp vlog, or do you think that's something you would do in the future?
I'd love to do that. Yeah. I was actually wanting to start vlogging when I went to Painty like 2 years ago. Like that was one of the things I was like, well, I have more free time. I was like, I should start practicing vlogging, and it's such a cool experience going to Painty and just being there by myself in Thailand. I was like, I got all this free time. But yeah, I love to do like a training vlog or like even like a fight camp vlog. But I just haven't been able to find like a balance between worrying about filming and then kind of worrying and focusing fully on training. If that makes sense. I kind of just separate the two. I'm like, okay, filming days are filming days, and then training days, I'm just like put the phones away, or like the cameras away. But I think if, like once I get more comfortable in front of the camera, I'll just not worry so much about, or like kind of know the system or the process of how I do it. I think just setting it up then and worrying about editing it later or having 2 or 3 cameras, you know, set up at different angles, that might work better.
Yeah, for sure. So wrapping things up, we're at our 15-minute mark. I don't want to take more of your time. Is there anything else you want to say or to talk about before we close?
Not really, but I think like just in general, like people that do come up and ask me questions about Muay Thai, it's a lot of them worrying that they can't do it. And I'm like, 100%, if I can do it, you can do it too. Because I'm one of the clumsiest people you ever see. And still to this day, and then I don't speak, like, I don't articulate very well either. I kind of just speak like broken Malaysian/English. And it still gets the message across. So, yeah, give it a go. It's fun. And if you have any like worries or questions, you can always come and ask me.
Awesome. And for people that are interested in following along with your YouTube, your forthcoming blogs, and other areas of life, where can they follow you? And also, you teach privates. Where can they do that as well?
So if you're in Melbourne, you want to train with me, you can do privates with me at Strike Gym, that's in Ascot Vale, and then Ring Gym in Braybrook. Just DM me. You'll find me on Instagram, Springsia, my full name, and then YouTube as well, Springsia. And